Good afternoon on what is a bright, warm and sunny day. It is Friday the 15th of April. Yeah, it's Good Friday and I'm in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a cat who is not ours and a parcel. Now I've already been into this parcel once and I think I've got, well, more than once. I've actually got one more thing to look at which I will now unbox. So let's take a look. So what I've got in here is this, which is Golden Heroes, the role-playing game of superheroes. And I've already done an unboxing of this. This is the British superhero role-playing game which came out in 1984, written by Peter Haines and my friend Simon Burley, and published by Games Workshop. This isn't my copy. It is intended for California and my friend Scott Jost, the co-host of the podcast To The Pigs. And the reason why I've got this is it's easier to send it to me and then get it to him than it is to get posted straight to him. There are copies of this. You can easily track down a copy of this. I say easily, relatively easily track down a copy of this in the UK. In the States, it's an entirely different matter, and the postage to get it to the States is not cheap. So I've already looked at the supervisor's book and the player's book, which are the core rules, and then below that we have the supervisor's kit, which includes the screen, the first scenario, which is Legacy of Eagles, which is written by Simon Burley, the game's co-creator. I've done an unboxing of all of those, and the last one we're going to look at is this. This is the last thing that Games Workshop published for Golden Heroes. It's the second scenario, Queen Victoria and the Holy Grail, and it's by Marcus L Rowland. This is definitely this is another one that I ran and everyone seemed to like, because it's an incredibly inventive scenario. Because I mean, it's almost like it's written by Marcus L Rowland. What would you expect? It's incredibly inventive. It's a lot of fun, and he also contributed a number of articles to White Dwarf for it. So let's have a look. So, discover Britain's best kept secret in Queen Victoria and the Holy Grail by Marcus L Rowland. A summons to the palace. Could it be recognition at last for the Golden Heroes? But things are not as they seem. Dark satanic forces are gathering for Tam and curse you. So about this scenario pack. This awesome adventure pack is suitable for experienced players of Golden Heroes, the role-playing game of superheroes. Please note that you cannot play this adventure without the rules for that game. Well, as I said about Legacy of Eagles, is that yes, you could if you adapt the plot, because at that time you really wouldn't have had a lot of contenders when it came to superhero role-playing games. You would have looked at Champions or Marvel superheroes from TSR, an older game, basically the first superhero role-playing game, Superhero 44, or Villains and Vigilantes, of course. But I wouldn't recommend Superhero 44. Didn't really have the list of powers and sort of like stuff that you really need to run a good superhero role-playing game. It left a lot of effort for you to do. Anyway, this pack contains the fully illustrated adventure booklet with complete plot details and special pull-out map sections, 24 colour, full stand-up cardboard characters of all the non-player characters, and 2 full-colour file cards detailing the major villains from the adventure. So, what we have: Queen Victoria and the Holy Grail. Okay, we have a basic configuration of a couple of things. Queen Victoria suggests sort of history and steampunk and so on, and the Holy Grail, of course, Arthurian legend. So let's dive in. So the first thing we pull out, is the sheet of cardboard stand-ups and the major stats for the villains of the piece. So you can see the major villain of the piece is Morgan Le Fay, but of course it does involve the Holy Grail. So what would you expect? And then we have the maps. See where this is. So what we've got here is maps of the Buckingham Palace vaults. Okay, a manor house. What it's got? Auction rooms. It's an auction house. And then on the other side, we've got more of the manor house. Okay, first ground floor and second floor. And then on the back, we have, sorry, it's in two sections, so I have to fiddle around with this. Bear with me. I forgot about this. So what you've got on the back is this. So you've got which is a floor plans of sort of like the top deck of telecom tower. Go on. So, sorry. So basically of telecom tower, the restaurant deck. Now, if you're in London, there's lots of major landmarks. And the telecom tower, BT Tower, as it's sort of known now, is one of them. It's a major telecommunications tower. It's not very far away from places like, trying to think, British Museum and University College London. And it used to have a revolving restaurant on top, and you could basically go in there and dine and so on, but it was closed due to a threat from Irish terrorists, as far as I recall. And famously, it's one of the iconic sort of pieces of television from the early 1970s is a shot from the comedy program The Goodies, where a giant kitten climbs the telecom tower and knocks it over, a la King Kong. And the name of the episode, the Goodies episode, is Kitten Kong. It's worth tracking down if you can find it, because it is very silly and very funny. Anyway, so let's get back to Queen Victoria and the Holy Grail. So we get into the action. Her Majesty requests. The thing is, the first thing you think of when you say Her Majesty requests is, oh, the Queen wants to come and see us. And here, the author sort of pulls a bit of a bait and switch here, because essentially, oh, this is 1985. Queen Elizabeth II has been on the throne for, just trying to think, 35 years. And that's not the Queen the characters are actually going to see. Believe it or not, and yes, this is going to be spoilers, folks. Dead but not not dead but resting. They essentially they encounter Queen Victoria, who gives them the mission, and basically sets everything up. You know, you've got to go and find the Holy Grail, and away you go. So the artwork inside looks pretty much like you would expect. I mean, it's not the style is not unfamiliar from the period for Games Workshop. Just trying to see. Yeah, it's decent enough. And then basically we've got to go across the Atlantic, and that's where you go to the auction house. So you can have that kind of that action where you have the cops with the handguns, and you run into a mafioso, looking very, very Hitchcockian. Because the interesting thing is that in 1985, British police being armed was very rare. You really would have to call on the military, or essentially the armed response teams for the police at that time. These days, the police have greater access to firearms, but they don't commonly wield them. Back in 1985 in the UK, you would never see a policeman on the street with any kind of firearm. At best, he'd have his truncheon. So the action goes on. We get to the Act Leaders and Enter the Dragon. So essentially, we veer from sort of like superhero, sort of like mystery, into magic with the appearance of a dragon. Track that down, and we get into the mansion here. and of course that where the player characters will encounter Morgan Le Fay and break down the doors of hell for a big battle. And then you've got the same kind of you've got the sort of similar to Legacy of Eagles. You have at the end, you've got the campaign ratings adjustments from playing through the scenario, so improving the character's backing, i.e. they get the backing of the government, or for being heroic, i.e. extinguishing the fires on Tower Bridge or in Oxford Street, or and so on, dispersing the storm before Telecom Tower is seriously damaged, or rates the characters as heroes. And so it does it the same for public relations, methods, and so on. And then future issues, essentially the outcomes of the scenario and how that affects further adventures. Full stats for Morgan Le Fay, complete description there, all with her spells as well. And they've got shadow demons and other NPCs, stats, got a fighter aircraft and the Holy Grail. Yeah, advertising on sort of like on the back for Legacy of Eagles. So that is a really nice little scenario in very nice condition. And like I say, I have run this, and it's an effective little sort of like scenario that sort of conflict. I mean, you could take it away, take the whole plot away, and do it as a kind of, I suppose, a sort of like a swinging 60s spy mission, if you will, or kind of I don't know, or even do, I mean, so you know, that you could do it like, I don't know, mix a straight spies and a little bit of magic, or you could mix in the psionics or something like the Champions. All would work really quite well with this plot. Morgan Le Fay and her the elements in there, you could keep those, or you could change it solution. You know, she's also using psionics rather, and essentially it's a front or something like that. It's all entirely up to you. There's lots of flexibility in this if you were to run this today, or you could run it as is. You could find a copy of Golden Heroes and still play this and have a lot of fun, or even adapt it to the superhero role-playing game of your choice. There are plenty of them available now, unlike in 1985. Anyway, so this is the last thing that Games Workshop published for Golden Heroes. Essentially, it was just the core rules, the supervisor's kit, Legacy of Eagles, and of course the 2 boxes of figures, villains, and heroes. So you can sort of like, it's not that difficult to actually collect everything for it. And then, you know, track down the content that would appear in the pages of White Dwarf, which is also very good. But in the meantime, I'm going to go away and enjoy looking at this again, because I really do like this scenario. It's a fun title, fun little affair, and it's another sort of like little gem from the pen of Marcus L Rowland. Anyway, in the meantime, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here, hold on, with a box and a book or game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.